What's going on, guys? Today we're going to look at the Air Jordan 11 Bred, also called the Playoffs Bred. We're going to take a look at the men's size 9.5 and a GS size 7Y. And we're going to basically look at the differences between the men's and the GS. We're also going to do like some legit checking stuff to look for. And we're also going to hit it with the Blacklight UV to really see what's up. And we're going to also look at the Concords as a bonus. And just a quick background, the 9.5s came from Shoe Palace. The 7Ys came from Sneakers app. Now, when I got the pair from Shoe Palace, that was after I took a L on the Sneakers app. So then I wound up being able to cop from Shoe Palace. Only bad thing is the left foot had real bad haze on the patent leather, like really bad. It wasn't coming off, so then I wound up cleaning it with a t-shirt and some alcohol, some rubbing alcohol, and that isopropyl, and that took it right off. So no problems after that. And here's the label. So both of them are 100% authentic, as I said. And we'll just let you see the labels. Here's the 9.5. Take a quick look at both boxes so you can see the difference in size. It's not that great, but it is noticeable a little bit. From the other side, you can see there too. All right, so we're going to get into the 7Y first. We'll take a look at the box. I took everything out. You see your QC sticker there. It's QC26, okay. It's the quality control sticker. Then I believe these stickers are for the mold. They're coming on all the Jordans. That's the stamp, 091719E1. You'll also find that under the insole typically. So now to look at the 9.5 from Shoe Palace. There's your invoice with the card. Okay. Now we'll see basically the same QC and the same mold sticker, YDM or whatever they call them. All right, same exact QC sticker that we saw on the GS pair. All right, and then there's your stamp. That actually says 09191915. So that little line going through it is kind of cutting off the ink. But when we look inside the shoe, I can prove to you it's actually 0819. So here's both pairs next to each other. You can see that from the top, the cut on the patent leather of the GS is lower all the way around. You could kind of see it on the toe cap there, but the space between the toe cap and the laces slightly bigger. Now here on the back, that's the most noticeable thing aside from the patent leather cut. The tab where the 23 is elongated greatly on the GS pair, and the 2-3 numbers are stretched out. As you can see, they're kind of squashed down on the men's pair, really flat, and on the GS pair, they're stretched out to accommodate, basically because the patent leather cut is higher, so much lower. So they basically the area where it's leather to patent leather, it's like 50-50, give or take, and then the tab covers the rest. So being that they made the tab so much bigger and then they split the space, basically that's how it looks. But it's you can see on the GS, it goes, the tab goes all the way down to the foot of the Jumpman, and on the men's it only goes to the hand, basically. So that's a pretty big difference. And then the patent leather is like way lower cut. So you can see I'm going to show you from the sides so you can see it better, but we'll just take one last look at the back and the top. So on the top, you can see the men's pair comes with the plastic insert in red. All right, that's what we're used to getting in all the 11s. And the GS pair comes with the cardboard inside, cardboard insert, just like the ones. So now when we come to the side, we'll notice the cut on the patent leather. It's going to be a pretty big difference if you see that second strap right in between the first and the two straps, that little divot, that dip. It's very low on the GS pairs. There isn't much patent leather there at all. It's cut very low. The men's pair has a high cut, so that's pretty obvious to see. Then again, if we compare the front cap, space is a little bigger on the GS pair. If you could tell, it's quite noticeable. Not as bad as some other areas, but it's still noticeable, being that it's a smaller shoe and the gap is still bigger. So now when you look at the inside, this is one of the most noticeable parts. Like, the cut is so very high on the men's pair, which I like. That it looks good. And then when you look at the GS pair, it's cut so low. It's almost literally half of the patent leather. You see, it even looks like less than half in spots. It's pretty low. I think that kind of throws off the look of the shoe a little bit. I think they kind of skimped out a little too much on the GS pairs. I think they should have made them with the higher cut as well. Made it a special shoe. But that's what happened. So now looking at the outsole, pretty much both outsoles are exactly the same. The only difference is the carbon fiber on the GS pairs is way more squared. It's painted like more perfectly in squares. And when you look at the adult pair, the squares are a little more rounded off. So they're not squares, they almost look like circles. They're a little more rounded off. So it's quite noticeable as well, because the GS pair just had perfect squares. So you can see that's the difference. You can take another look here. All right. And there, one last look. So that's quite noticeable. I don't know if all pairs are like this, but I assume so. So all the adult pairs I seen were kind of rounded off like that. So now this is inside the GS pair. So the material used inside is different as well. You can see that's like more of a mesh type of, not exactly, but it also has writing on the underside of it. So the writing you're seeing is backwards. It says 7GS, and then it says Air Jordan 11 GS. Then there's some other writing underneath that. Couldn't quite make it out. Okay, but basically the writing's on the bottom side of that, so you're seeing the backing, basically. And that's inside the shoe. So in my opinion, the shoe is way more sloppier put together. It's not constructed as well. The midsole is completely different on the inside, the insole. So you can see that material is different. And then if you focus on this area, there's actually that hole, and then there's that dotted line going around it. There's like a channel there where the insole's kind of like cut a little deep. So there's like a channel there. And then right around the hole, there's a little area of cushioning that sticks up. So I suppose that's just to give you a little bit of squish while you're walking. When you put pressure on your heel, you'll feel a little more give. It's because they left a little area of cushioning sticking up. It's like a weird shape. I don't know if it's like teardrop or like a little minus sign. Pretty much just poking up. And it's kind of squishy. So, and then around that is cut out deeper. So I feel like you'd walk, you'd be squishing on that peak and probably give you a little squishy sensation. Like to give it a little cushiony feeling. So I suppose that's what they did there. But you'll probably have to put your hand down there and feel around to really understand what I'm talking about. All right, so now we're going to bring the black light out. That's what the inside looks with the black light. You see the white threading kind of glows. And that's about it. That glows. You can see all the writing in there still. On the inside of the tongue tag, on all the pairs, they all fluoresce. That quality basketball writing on the inside tongue. That's supposed to fluoresce on the adult and the GS pairs. Okay, so here's a look at the insole real fast. The Nike Air on the insole doesn't glow. The size tag that says 7Y does reflect. When you look at the numbers on the back, they look purple with the black light on them. So that's exactly what the Concord numbers do too. Gives you that purple violet look. All right, now we're going to look at all of the shoes from the front here. So when I hit the light on the Jumpman Jordan on the tongue, you can see that it's very reflective and even fluoresces quite a bit. So you can see that when the light hits it, gives a little pop. And that's really the most you're gonna see on a Blacklight with this shoe, really. That's the biggest detail, which isn't anything fantastic, but it's a bit underwhelming because you're looking at a primarily black shoe. So it's like the Concords look a lot cooler under the light because of the white pops, you know, and the clear insole glows blue. So, but we'll get to that. So here you're just gonna see on the tongue the Jumpman Jordan glow. Then you can also notice a lot of stains on the outsoles and midsoles when you're looking at the Blacklight, and that's about it. So that's the men's pair again. Same thing, you see the reflection there. All right, and on the back you see the 23, that white lettering looks purple, bluish, purplish, violet, whatever you want to call it. That's what you're gonna see. It's not gonna fluoresce or it's not gonna reflect or get real bright. It just turns violet. Now there's some staining on the midsole. It's not really stains, but it's probably some chemical residues or glue residue that's been cleaned up but still shows up on the Blacklight. So when I go around with the light, you can see this is the insides. So you can see all those little stains fluorescing on the midsole. This is the men's pair, in case you were confused. The Blacklight really brings out all the stains, and you see everything. You see any fuzz, anything that's on the material, even like dust, it all lights up. So you see all the residues on the sole and stuff. Some of the stuff you could vaguely see without the light. Some stuff you can't see until you hit it with the light. Now we're looking inside the men's pair. You can see the stamp there. When I hit it with the Blacklight in a little, you can see it's the 08191915. So if you take a real good look, you can see that. Now when you look inside the shoe more, it looks like there's some stuff that only shows up with the Blacklight. Now this is pretty much it almost looks like the writing on the insole. So I don't know if it's just like transferred from being inside, but I didn't even put my foot on it yet. So it looks like it's some sort of watermarking. That's the tag. Get a good look. And we're gonna look inside the shoes again still. That's the tag. Tag just looks bluish purple with the light on it. Now I want you to notice that blue thread around the edges of the side. If you can see that thread, it looks blue. I'm gonna give you another look there. You see it in the heel. It's a blue thread. It goes all the way around the shoe, basically. So that thread, you could obviously see it's blue. When we hit that thread with a Blacklight, it's gonna look purple, and when the light hits it properly, it's gonna look red, like maroon, burgundy, wine, but it's gonna have a real red hit. It's gonna be obvious. So it's not gonna look blue, it's gonna look purple, and it's gonna hit you with some red hits. So I'm gonna show you that in a moment, but I thought that was quite interesting. So give you one last look. Now we're gonna light it up. See how that looks red right there? And the light hits it, boom, red. You can clearly see it. All right, now, so we're gonna look at the insoles. The insoles are quite different. The insole on the GS was actually glued down. You can see the lines of glue, the residue from it. So that was glued down. Had to peel it up carefully. And they're pretty much different material. The men's pair has a better insole, actually. It's better foam, and you can see it's winged in place of the arch of the foot, whereas the other one's just cut out. There's some writing there. I don't think that's too important to focus on. Now we're gonna flip them over. That's basically it. You can just see that the one's cut out and the other one's not. Boom. So here we're looking at the Concord from last year and this year's Bred men's. You can see the Jumpman Jordan doesn't really reflect the same way. It doesn't quite pop under the black light. So it kind of looks like it does, but there's so much white around it that's really just lighting it up. It doesn't really reflect the same way the men's one does. So I noticed that to be a little less reflective on the Concord than on the Bred. So I'll just basically show you that here. So now looking at the back, you can see all the white numbers look purple, violet. You see that white leather looks the same way, the same color. It looks kind of violet. It's harder to tell on camera, but it does give you that deep purple violet look. And you can see the stitching pops. The stitching's white and it pops in white. So does the upper. So it's just that back leather will look purple. The white midsole will look purple, and the numbers will look purple. And that's pretty much everything that will look purple. Then the Jumpman Jordan is a little bit reflective, and so is the inside tag. There you can see. I'll give you one more good look from the back of the shoe coming up. And you get a good sense of what you're supposed to see. So now we're gonna take a look at the outsole. You can see when it's hit with the black light that it has a very nice shade to it. Very nice blue. It reminds me of those little tubes that glow. They give you them on like the 4th of July. It's that same color blue. Love those. That's a really cool shade. That icy blue once you hit it with the light, just man, looks amazing under the light to me. Love that color. So you could tell that's the way when it's clear, the light's supposed to be able to reflect through it a little more, and it really colors it. So when you hit the Bred pair, you're not gonna see anything. It's too like foggy and cloudy. The red's not like transparent enough. You really need like a clear sole to be able to let the light reflect through it. That's what you got here, so it reflects through, and that's a good way to tell on a fake one, because a lot of times, you know, the fake ones have the darker outsole where they don't get that clear icy blue, right? You know, it always looks a little darker. Being that it's darker, it's less clear, it's less transparent, and the light doesn't reflect as good inside of it. So when you put your light up to the heel like that, you should be able to tell if it's glowing the right way. So you could just tell that's from far away, and not even pointing directly at it. I'm actually pointing at the white upper, and you can tell there I just came down to the edge a little. So you can see the midsole looks purple, the white leather will look purple, the numbers will look purple, the outsole will glow. Pretty much from here on out, I'm just showing you the Concords. So now I'm gonna take you inside of the Concord. That writing there is imprinted from the insole. That's like the print that's on the insole. So I've worn these, and that pressure has basically stamped that hole thing onto here. I don't think it was on there before that, so you probably won't see that if you don't wear them. So that's just from the pressure, basically stamped it in. You can see there's some red writing there. I'm going to show it to you with the light as well, with the normal light. So you can see some faint red writing above that. Not sure what it says. There's also something interesting in here that I want to show you, coming right up. So you can see it has black threading, and then above that, going all around the side, there's a white threading. That white threading by the toe box has yellow dots. So it's like the material in back or in between that you're seeing by the holes, or I don't know if it's like some glue maybe or something, but you're seeing those yellow dots in between the white thread. So I found that to be pretty unique. This pair was from Footlocker, like I said, so it's authentic. I don't think every authentic pair is gonna have the yellow dots in there. I think I seen somebody that had red or blue, to tell you the truth. So I don't know, not quite sure about that, but that's something you want to look for, that thread going around, that it's clean, and that black thread should be very clean looking. So if you think you got a fake and you got a men's pair and it's got white thread on the bottom, it's probably a no-go. It should be black thread. The GS pairs could have the white thread. So now I'm going to show you what that's going to look like with the Blacklight. So right there you can see, boom, those yellow dots are gone. You don't see them with the Blacklight. And that red writing, whatever's there on the bottom of the foot, you can still see it, but it's nothing major. And that's pretty much most of the stuff I wanted to point out to you. And last thing, I want to thank everybody for watching. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to everybody who watched and everybody who subscribed.